When you purchase a property, what exactly are you purchasing? Well, that takes us to this week's video blog. It involves a real man and his neighbor up in Minnesota, Mark Baseman. Mark bought a house. Closing took place. He owned the property fair and square. And a couple of weeks after he purchased it, before he moved in, his next door neighbor sawed the garage in half. Sawed the garage in half. Well, Mark said, "How can you do this? It's my property," and brought suit against the neighbor for the damage to the garage. Neighbor responded saying, "Wait a second, the property line isn't where you thought it was, and your garage is on my property line, or at least a good part of it is. My sister previously was living there. I told her where the property line was, and she didn't do anything about it. I said if she didn't do anything about it, I was going to take some action. I took some action. I cut the garage at the point where the property line actually exists." Well, the case went forward to court, and the judge came away and said, well, where is the property line? It was established the property line was where the neighbor said the property line was, and the case was decided in favor of the neighbor. Mark wound up with nothing except having the obligation to pay the attorney's fees of the guy that he had sued. Okay, so what's the point we learn from this case? Well, it's a very important singular point, and that is when you buy a property, even when you're buying residential property in a well-established community, you need to know exactly where those property lines are. Getting a survey is a very good idea. Many times surveys are expensive, but boy, oh boy, oh boy, you will then know where your property is. Interestingly enough, it's not the new subdivisions that are many times the problem, it's the well-established neighborhoods, because in the well-established neighborhoods you've got people who have built walls, built garages, and done a variety of other things that seem to delineate where the property line is. But in reality, those walls, those other buildings, don't necessarily show where the property line is. A wall might have been built off the property line because somebody wanted to have the ability to go on the other side of the wall and maintain it without trespassing on their neighbor's property. A garage, even though some cities allow garages to be built on the property line, the garage might be built off the property line. So, when you're buying a piece of property, you got to know what you're getting. And how do you know that? Well, very candidly, the best way is with a decent survey, because without it, you're not going to be absolutely certain. And as I say, sometimes the major issues are not with the new properties, the new subdivisions, but with existing properties that have been around 100 years or more, and things have changed in that 100 years. Walls have been built, various other structures have been built. A lot of people assume things which are just an assumption. Hey, we bring you this cases, we bring you cases every week so you understand how the law works. I'm David Allen.